Good day, folks. How you doing? Welcome back to Film Time for another dose of History Network's hit reality series, Pawn Stars. So today, we'll be talking about 6 Pawn Star buys that were worth it. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Number 1. Edward Curtis Photographers. Rick stumbled upon luck when a purchase he made over 20 years ago turned out to be a big deal, especially as the rare items belonged to a famed photographer in the 19th century. Edward Curtis was a photographer and ethnologist who enjoyed a considerable reputation in the late 19th century as his work focused on the American West and Native American people. Rick Harrison had purchased 4 sets of American Indian photographers by the acclaimed photographer without an idea of the value of the photos. According to Rick, he had bought the entire set for just $50. Rick later discovered the value of the extremely rare works of Edward Curtis and was shocked to discover the works were valued at nearly $20,000. In other words, he had paid so little to acquire so much. Number 2. Fabergé Spider Brooch. Trust Rick Harrison to know a valuable artifact once he sees it, and this time around, it was with a piece of jewelry. When a seller came into the pawn shop with a piece of jewelry that had been gifted to them by a relative, no one knew the value of the rare piece except for Rick. He admitted he didn't know the market value of the spider brooch, but he knows he's holding a rare piece of jewelry. When the seller asked for a couple of $1,000s, Rick shocked her and everyone else by offering $15 grand for the piece. It later turned out that the piece was worth $80,000, which makes it one of the greatest buys in the show's history. Number 3. 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring. The former defensive back, Brock Williams, decided to sell his 2001 Super Bowl championship ring. The ring, covered with 143 diamonds and made of 14 carats white gold, was such a rare gem for the hosts of the show, most especially Rick, to ignore. The beauty of the ring was enough to convince Rick. It also helped that the ring had made history as the first ring that had exceeded the NFL's expense limit. Rick had bought the ring from Brock for just $2,000, but as Brock was reluctant to depart with the ring, Rick had brought it as a collateral loan for Brock to come back for it after a stipulated time, but he never came back for it, and the ring is now worth over $100 grand. It was a worthy buy as Rick seemingly brought the history covered in diamonds. Number 4. Order of the White Eagle Medallion. A piece of history and Poland walked into the famous pawn shop, and Rick immediately knew the medallion must be of high value. The seller had bought the medallion at a yard sale for just 75 cents. Rick had bought the medallion for $6,000. He later called in an expert who estimated the value of the medallion, as he explained that the medallion dated back to the era of the Tsarist occupation of Poland. The historical background of the medallion skyrocketed the price of the medallion, and Rick was able to sell the medallion for $30,000. This means he got 5 times the value of what he paid. Number 5. Stephen Stills guitar. Guitars with history is a must-have for every pawn shop, and it's not surprising that Rick and co. would pay any amount to get their hands on such valuables. A pawn seller had walked into the shop with a 1941 Gibson SJ200 guitar owned by Stephen Stills of Stills, Crosby & Nash, a critically acclaimed folk rock supergroup of the late 1960s. Apart from the guitar being owned by Stephen Stills, the guitar is also the star's signature. An expert was called in to evaluate the authenticity of the guitar, and he estimated the value of the guitar at over $100 grand. Rick was able to buy the guitar from the seller at $85,000, which made it a worthy buy. Number 6. John F. Kennedy cigar box. As long as it has the name of an ex-president attached to it, you can be assured of its rarity and market value. A seller had brought in a box of cigars that belonged to the 35th President of the United States of America. The seller, knowing the value of the history of this item, had requested a sum of $95,000. After back-and-forth negotiations, Rick managed to buy the box from the seller at $60,000. It was later discovered that a similar item related to the late president had also been bought for $575,000 by the publisher of Cigar Aficionado in 1996. Rick definitely bought an item worthy of its money. There you have it, guys. 6 Pawn Stars buys that were totally worth it. Which of these purchases do you think was worth it? Which other purchase do you think should have made the list? Share your thoughts with others in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the video, please do not hesitate to click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like this. You can also turn on the bell icon to get notified of our future posts. We hope to see you again soon. Adios.